Hey guys, here's a new fan I got over the weekend. This is a 16-inch Westinghouse Poweraire desk fan. I got this at a antique shop, which is like a half hour away from me, a new one that I've never been to before. And there was like probably like 8 or 10 other antique shops on this like one road where I got this one at. I didn't have time to stop into each store, but there's so many of them. I'm definitely gonna have to go back and go to the other ones I didn't get to going to yet. But I got this fan along with another Westinghouse, which is a first gen Lively-Air 12-inch. But back to this fan. This is the second gen of the Poweraire. The Poweraire came out in I think in the mid 30s, like 1936. And I believe they stopped making the first generation, also known as the Darth Vader fan, because of the rear of the motor housing, because it looks like Darth Vader's mask. But I believe they stopped making that first gen in around 1940, 1941. And then they came out with the second generation, this fan, in I believe 1942, and they stopped making them in the early 50s. And then they also came in, so this is the biggest, the 16-inch version. And they also had a 12 and they had a 10. 12-inch and 10-inch. But I got the big one this time that I found. I found it was in a corner of this antique shop on the floor. I didn't even notice it at first, but then whenever I looked around, I saw it on the floor. The only problem with this fan that I had is that the head wire was all frayed. And so I had to put a new cord on it, and it's a 3-wire cord because this is a 3-speed fan. I'm guessing each wire is for 1 speed. But then I got a new wire on it, and then the other wire, which is, I believe it's original, has the original plug too, which is really cool. I believe they all came in this same color too, kind of this grayish color. It was the most popular color for this fan. It has Westinghouse with a little circle. This is also one of my favorite fans from the 40s, besides the GE Vortelex, which the one I have, which is one of my other favorite fans from the 40s. But so at the base, most of these fans, most fan collectors call these the hood ornament. It's just like a chrome teardrop that they had, and on the other side of this is the wall mount, so you can mount it onto the wall. But most of the fans from this generation, they're all missing and they're hard to find, but you can get replacements for them. But I was happy that it still has its original one. And the weird thing about this fan is that the fan can turn a lot, but I think that's because of the ball bearings in the neck where it can oscillate. And another cool thing about this fan is the blades. They're made out of a material called micarta. And micarta is basically like Bakelite, what GE had. Because GE had their plastic, which was Bakelite, and then Westinghouse had their plastic, which is this, micarta. It's basically like an early plastic, and because Westinghouse and GE were both the main two fan manufacturers from the 20s to the 60s. But And it has pretty steeply pitched blades too. I really like it. And there's a switch down there. And that's one of the reasons why I like this fan, because of the design of the cage and the blades. And there's the side of it more. It has kind of like a jet style venting at the back. This fan was disgusting whenever I got it. It was like all of that in there was all like dust buildup and dust bunnies. It was disgusting. But I got that all cleaned up. And that looks pretty good. Besides the paint chipping in some spots. But yeah, so now I'll turn it on to low. And this fan is completely silent, like there's no buzzing at all. This is definitely one of my quietest fans in my fan collection, desk fan wise. The blades are really balanced too, but I think one is ever so slightly out of balance, but it's really not that bad. And it has an aluminum hub in the center, which I also like. I don't know why, I always thought that it looks like an eye or something like that. But this fan is so quiet. I love this fan. So there's low speed, move it up to medium. And this fan is basically like my 16-inch Emerson. It has a speed coil and a capacitor inside the base. And another problem with these fans, with this generation of Poweraire, is that, like right here, at the base, they're known to get really hot, like right there, because the speed coil is right underneath of that chrome strip. This is definitely one of my most powerful fans too. High. It really goes. I'm so glad that this fan works. I got this fan for a decent amount of money. I got it for 50 bucks. It's not that bad for the size and the condition that it's in. It's in alright condition, besides the paint loss. But I'll turn the oscillator on. How you do that is I just screw this down. I don't know why, it goes to the side, like all the way, and it doesn't really go this way. It's probably something to do with the, probably do something with like how like the neck is and like the positions. Because I believe you can like pick your like own positions too, at the base. Screw it down to medium. I'd love to put this in somewhere upstairs in my house, but I don't know. I don't really have any places where to put it. The switch is a little bit sticky on high speed. Kind of catches itself on like oscillate. Kind of doesn't really do it all like the best. So there's off. So yeah, that is a 16-inch Westinghouse Poweraire from the 40s. So yeah, that's it. Bye.